You're kidding, right? Liam stepped back like I had slapped him. Emily, you're not actually saying you're pregnant. I took 3 tests, I whispered, holding my breath. I saw the doctor this morning. It's real, he dragged. His hand through his hair and laughed cold, dry, hollow. This can't be happening. You said you were on the pill. I never missed one, Liam. But nothing is 100%. I trusted you. His voice cracked like glass. No. Said you didn't want kids either, you said that. Didn't plan this. But I'm pregnant, and I'm keeping the baby. He stared at me like I was a stranger. You know what this looks like, right? Like you trapped me? We waited until I was serious about my career, and then boom, I'm pregnant. Heart dropped. You think I planned this? At your smart, Em. Too smart for this to be an accident. Liam, I took a shaky step forward. This isn't a trap. It's a life. Our life, no? No, it's your life now. He backed toward the door. I'm not ready to be a dad. I didn't sign up for this. My voice cracked. Walking out? Just like that? What do you expect me to do? His jaw clenched. Marry you? Raise a kid I don't even want? Ruin my entire future because of your decision? Our decision, I corrected, tears stinging my eyes. I made this baby together. He grabbed his coat from the back of the chair. Don't do that. Don't guilt me. I have a job interview in Manchester next week. I can't be stuck here with diapers and daycare. You think this is easy for me? I shouted. I'm terrified, Liam, but I'm still here. I'm not running. I'm not running, he muttered, avoiding my eyes. I'm just choosing something else. But something doesn't include me, does it? Silence. You're serious. I let out a dry, broken laugh. You're actually leaving? I'll send some money, he said stiffly. But don't expect anything else. You're leaving me pregnant and alone, and all you have to offer is some money? I have to look after myself. I can't lose everything because you made a mistake. I made a mistake? I shook my head, stunned. I didn't think. I could feel worse than I did this morning. But you made sure of that. He walked past me, reached for the handle. I grabbed his arm. Please, don't do this. Not now. Not when I need you the most. He pulled away like my touch burned him. I already made up my mind. The door opened. Liam, my voice cracked. Don't go. Please. He didn't look back. Just walked out into the cold, drizzling street and shut the door behind. Him nigh. Stood frozen. Everything in me screamed to chase him, to yell, to cry, to beg harder. But my legs wouldn't move, so I sat down on the floor and pressed my hand to my stomach. A tiny heartbeat, a life mine to protect. Mine alone. I don't. Remember how long I sat there? Long enough for the rain to grow heavier, to tap harder against the windows like an echo of my heartbeat. I grabbed my coat and stumbled outside, half hoping he hadn't gone far. Maybe he was just around the corner, breathing hard, regretting. Everything but the street was empty. I walked to the edge of the road, the cold soaking through my shoes. He was gone. No footsteps, no car, no goodbye, only silence, and me, pregnant alone. Grace called later that night. I didn't answer. I couldn't speak without breaking. Instead, I curled up on the couch, wrapped in the blanket he once bought me, and stared at the ceiling. My thoughts were loud, wild, and cruel. What if I can't do this? What if I fail? What if I'm not strong enough? But every time I tried to imagine giving up, I thought of the heartbeat inside me, the tiny life counting on me to keep going. To fight the next morning, I woke to the sound of birds and the ache of reality. No text from Liam, no apology, no explanation, just a cold, quiet apartment and a doctor's appointment scheduled for noon. As I walked to the clinic, I caught my reflection. In a store window, pale, skin, red eyes, weak posture, I didn't look like a mother. I barely looked like a person. Inside the exam room, the nurse smiled gently. Would you like to hear the heartbeat? I nodded, and then it came, soft, fast, steady. Like a whisper of hope inside my wreckage, I cried quietly, clutching the paper. Gown around me when I left the clinic. The wind cut through my coat. I wrapped my arms around my stomach. "You've got me," I whispered. "And I've got you." The city moved around me like nothing had happened. Cars honked, people laughed. Life didn't pause for pain, but I had, and now somehow I had to. "Start again." He said it like he was doing me a favor by leaving. Like my pain was less important than his freedom, but I wouldn't break. Not yet. Not now. Not ever. Asterisk, there's no heartbeat. The doctor didn't look at me. His eyes stayed glued to the monitor like avoiding mine would soften the blow. "No, try again. Please, just check again." He turned the screen. "Emily, I'm sorry." My hand flew to my stomach. I shook my head. "No, I felt movement last night. I felt it." "It could have been muscle spasms," he said gently. Sometimes the body stopped talking. I stared at the black and white static on the monitor. Nothing moved, just silence. "Two don't understand." My voice trembled. "I did everything right. Took my vitamins. I rested." I know. You did everything you could. Are you sure you want to do this alone?" The nurse asked while wheeling me into the labor ward. "There's no one coming." She glanced down. "Do you want us to contact the father?" "No," she nodded quietly. I screamed into the pillow, clutching the railings of the bed. The pain shot through me like fire. "You're doing great," someone said. "Almost there." "What's the point?" I cried. "Why am I even doing this?" Nobody answered. And then silence. No cries, no movement, just the dull thud of emptiness. The nurse placed a small bundle in my arms. "He's beautiful," she whispered. Dot. I looked down, so tiny, so still. His hands curled into little fists like he was still holding on. "I'm sorry," I whispered, stroking his cheek. "I'm so sorry." The funeral was 2 days later. No flowers. No guests. No father, just me. A man handed me a clipboard. "Sign here to confirm the burial details." My hand shook. "Can you just give me a moment?" He nodded and stepped back. I stood in front of the smallest coffin I had ever seen. White, pure, too. "Clean for something so tragic. You should be in my arms," I whispered. "Not in a box." The wind picked up, carrying the scent of damp soil. "I picked your name, Oliver. It means peace." I wiped my eyes with my sleeve. "I wish you'd known love, or at least known me." The groundskeeper coughed politely behind me. "Ready, no?" But I nodded anyway. They lowered him into the ground as rain started to fall. I knelt down, pressing my palm into the fresh soil. "I won't stay broken. I promise you that." I stood up slowly. My jeans were soaked through, my hands muddy. Didn't care. I'll build a life you'd be proud of somehow. Back home, the silence was unbearable. I picked up my phone. No missed calls. No messages. Not even a text from Liam? I dialed his number. It rang twice. Then voicemail. "Hey, it's Liam, leave it." I hung up. No words were left for him. Grace called around midnight. "Emily, are you okay?" "No, I'm coming over." "No, don't. Just not tonight." "Did you call him?" "Yes, and didn't answer." Grace sighed. "He doesn't deserve to know." "I know," I whispered. "But I wanted him to. I don't know why." "You needed someone to hurt as much as you do." "Exactly." She was quiet for a moment. "What do you need?" "To stop feeling like this." "I wish I could fix that. I wish anyone could." The next morning, I packed away the baby clothes. One by one, the tiny socks, the elephant onesie, the blanket with little stars on it. I held it to my face and cried until it was soaked. Then I folded it, placed it in a box, and taped it shut. I wrote one word on the side, Oliver. Days blurred. I slept through alarms, ate crackers for dinner, ignored the mail piling by the door. Then one day, I walked to the mirror. I looked like someone else, pale, hollow-eyed, empty. "This isn't me," I whispered. But it was. I sat in the cemetery again. The same spot, same grave. "I miss you." The breeze answered. "I don't know how to go on, but I know I have to." I glanced at the other graves. Names, dates, silence then. Heard a soft voice behind me. You shouldn't be here alone. I turned. An older woman stood with a bouquet of lilies. Her eyes were kind. I buried my daughter here. Years ago, I didn't speak. She walked closer and placed the flowers on another grave. The pain changes you, she said. Also remakes you, I swallowed. What if I don't want to be remade? She smiled gently. Then you stay broken. But you don't have to. Later that night, I opened my journal. I wrote the first page with shaking hands. I buried my baby alone. And the man who did this was living like nothing happened. I paused, then kept writing. Grace knocked on my door 2 days later. She held soup in one hand and a warm hug in the other. I'm here now, she whispered. I nodded. I'm tired of being alone. She wrapped her arms around me. I don't know what happens next, but I do know one thing. I buried my baby. I buried the version of me that waited for someone to come back. And in that grief, something else was born. Maybe not hope, not yet, but something close. Something that might one day become strength. Emily, you've missed 3 shifts. I know, we need consistency. I just buried my baby. I'm sorry, my manager said, tapping her pen against the desk. But grief isn't an excuse for unreliability.
Oh.
Jaw clenched. It wasn't a pet, it was my child. I understand, but no, you don't. She sighed. We have to let you go. That was it. No offer of leave, no support.
Yes.
Just a printed termination letter and a fake apology. Walked out holding a box of cold memories and no job. Rent was overdue. The fridge was almost empty. My inbox was filled with condolences and payment reminders. I stopped checking them. Grace's voice came through the intercom. I'm downstairs. I'm fine, I lied. No, you're not. Buzz me. I pressed the button, then collapsed back on the couch. She entered with a bag of groceries and a pile of mail. You look like you haven't slept, because I haven't. Have you eaten? I shook my head. Coffee counts, right? She dropped the groceries on the counter. I'm staying the night. You don't have to? I do. That night, we sat in silence until I finally broke it. Everything's falling apart. I know. I can't fix it. You don't have to fix everything today. I stared at the ceiling. Feels like the world just moved on. Like nothing happened. Grace turned toward me. The world didn't stop. But that doesn't mean you have to keep pretending. I swallowed hard. I think I'm losing my mind. You're grieving. I'm angry. I'm tired. I feel guilty for breathing. She reached for my hand. You don't need to be okay. You just need help. Dr. James's office smelled like peppermint and paper. He was calm. It's calm. Why are you here, Emily? Because I don't want to disappear. He nodded. That's a powerful reason. I lost my baby, and the man who left me doesn't even know. Do you want him to? I don't know. That's fair. I can't sleep. I try to eat. I cry at spoons. In light switches, he didn't flinch. It doesn't feel like grief. It feels like drowning. And let's learn to swim. I'm not writing some cheesy diary, I told Grace as she handed me a notebook. It's not for poetry. It's for your rage. I don't have rage. She raised an eyebrow. I rolled my eyes. Fine. Day 1. I feel like I'm made of glass. One wrong move, and I'll shatter. Day 3. I saw a baby stroller. Today I nearly collapsed. Day 6. I dreamed he came back. Then I woke up and hated myself for wanting that. Dr. James asked, "What do you feel when you write?" I feel like someone is finally listening, even if it's just paper, especially because it's just paper. Grace found me scribbling. One afternoon, "Do you want coffee?" I looked up. "No, but I need it." She smiled. "That's improvement. I hate everything. You're alive. That's something." We sat outside in the tiny park near my flat. It was cold, but it helped me breathe. "Do you ever think about leaving?" I asked. "All the time. What stops you?" She sipped her coffee. "You." I stared at a mother pushing twins in a stroller. Grace followed my gaze. "Does it hurt?" "It used to. Now it makes me try harder. To do what? Become someone the world can't ignore. I opened the journal again. Day 10. The world didn't pause for my pain, but I'm learning to walk again. Day 14. I want to create something. Not for him. Not for anyone. Day 17. I was either going to disappear or become someone the world couldn't ignore. I chose the second. Dr. James asked, "What would you do if pain wasn't in the way?" I'd build something. Maybe a business, a place for women like me. He smiled. That's the first time you've said build instead of fix. I guess I'm tired of fixing broken things. Good, it's better to build from scratch. Grace came into the living room and froze. What's all this? I was surrounded by books, sticky notes, and open tabs on my laptop. I have an idea, I said. She grinned. That's the first time you've said that in months. I want to start something. Support platform for grieving moms. Sat beside me. You're doing it. I'm terrified. That means you care. Rent was still late. My savings were low. But something inside me had shifted. For the first time in months, I wasn't crying over what I lost. I was building toward what I might gain. The world didn't stop for my pain, but I didn't disappear either. I started again. One page, one breath, one broken piece at a time. Asterisk, I launched the site this morning. Grace blinked. Wait, seriously? Without telling me? I wanted to see if I could actually do it, alone. You could have let me celebrate with you. What's it called? Second cradle? It's for mothers like me. Like we were. Ones who didn't get to hold their babies for long. Grace's voice softened. That name gave me chills. I nodded, brushing a lock of hair behind my ear. It's not just grief counseling. Support, journaling kits, healing resources, even parenting tools for rainbow babies. I designed it all myself. You're doing more than healing. You're helping, that's the point. If I stayed buried in pain, nothing would change. But if I used it, she reached across the kitchen table, squeezing my hand. You're becoming someone powerful. I'm not trying to be powerful. I looked down at our clasped hands. I'm just trying to be whole again. Later that night, I stared at the fertility paperwork. You sure about this? The nurse had asked. I had nodded. Yes. I lost one child. I want to give life again. But I don't want anyone to know. Not yet. I remembered the cool gel on my belly, the flicker of a heartbeat on the screen, the doctor's shocked smile. 2, she whispered. Emily, you're carrying twins. I hadn't said anything then. I still hadn't told Grace, not even her. I whispered to the bathroom mirror that night, hands over my belly. I won't tell the world until I'm strong enough to stand with or without their applause. Weeks turned into months. Orders trickled into the site, then they flowed. 50 journals this week, Grace said, flipping through a spreadsheet. That's 50 grieving mothers who chose you to walk beside them. I'm not walking. Beside them, I whispered, I'm walking ahead, clearing the path. She smiled. You're allowed to be proud, you know. I am. Quietly. This comeback, it's not for noise. You're different now. Stronger, calmer. I had to be. One evening, I sat in the nursery I hadn't finished. Soft blankets folded neatly, cribs untouched. I whispered, I wasn't rebuilding just for me. I was creating a life for the ones who never got to live theirs. A soft knock interrupted my thoughts. Grace peeked in. You okay? I'm good. Thinking about them. Always. She walked in, sat beside me on the floor. Ever going to tell me what you've been hiding lately? I hesitated then. I'm pregnant. Grace gasped. Emily, why didn't you? I needed to do this part quietly. Not as a spectacle, not as a survival story. Just me. She stared, eyes glassy. You're not alone anymore. You know that, right? I do. But I had to feel alone long enough to choose strength over sorrow. She hugged me, her voice cracking. I'm so proud of you. I leaned into her. Promise me one thing. Anything. When I tell the world, help me do it with. Grace, not for attention, but for impact. She pulled back, wiping a tear. You're changing lives already, including mine. I smiled for the first time in days. Let's get to work then. And we did, quietly, relentlessly. For the ones who never got to speak. You're almost there, Emily. Just one more push. I clenched my teeth, sweat dripping down my temples. I can't. Yes, you can. Grace's voice rang beside me, fierce and steady. Push. A scream tore from my throat as I gave everything. I had left then, crying. A piercing, beautiful sound. 1, the doctor announced. Another push. More pain, more trembling. Then another cry. 2, you did it. A healthy baby boy and girl. I collapsed back on the pillow, sobbing. Let me see them. Tiny, wriggling, red-faced, they were placed on my chest. I whispered, "Hi, I'm your mom." Their warmth sank into my bones like fire through winter. Grace brushed my hair back gently. "Noah and Lily," she whispered. "They're perfect." I kissed their foreheads. "You're here. You're finally here." The next day, Grace walked in holding coffee and a phone. "Your inbox is exploding. I haven't even posted anything, yet you're allowed to be seen, Emily. It's time." I looked down at my babies, snuggled in soft white blankets. What if the world ruins this? She smiled. "It can't. You've already built something stronger than anything it could break." I hesitated, then lifted my phone. I snapped. A photo me, holding Noah and Lily in the hospital bed, all three of us glowing with exhaustion and life. What should I say? I asked. Grace smiled. "Say what's real." My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. Then I typed, "Born from heartbreak, raised by strength." I paused, breathed in, added, #Noah and Lily, #new beginnings, then hit post. Almost instantly, notifications flooded. My screen, Grace's eyes widened. "Emily, you've been gone for years. This is like a resurrection." I laughed softly. Somewhere, far from us, a screen lit up. Liam, he saw it. I knew he did, but I didn't care. Night, I rocked Lily as Noah slept beside us. You saved me." Lily blinked up at me, eyes wide and trusting. "You didn't just save me," I whispered. "You completed me." I heard Noah stir and turned to pick him up too. Holding both against my chest, I breathed deeply. And suddenly, the past didn't matter as much. Grace entered quietly. "Need help?" "Always." She smiled and reached for Noah. "You're glowing. I feel like I've finally come home to myself. I'm going to be an incredible mom. I hope so." I've been to people before this grieving Emily and surviving Emily, but now I look down at their tiny faces. Now I'm just mom. Grace sat beside me. "So, what now? What happens to second cradle? I keep growing it. I want my kids to grow up knowing their mom helped others heal. I want them to be proud." She nodded. "You're not done rising, are you?" I met her eyes. "I'm just getting started." My phone buzzed again. A message request. From Liam. I stared. Didn't open it. Grace noticed. "Is that who I think?" "It is?" I nodded. "Yeah. You're going to read it?" "Maybe later." I set the phone aside. "I'm not letting him take up space in my heart today. You've really let go, haven't you?" I had 2 for them, for me. Lily let out a tiny hiccup. I laughed. "This is what matters now." Grace smiled, "And it always will." Looked around the hospital room, walls now warm with flowers and congratulations. My heart swelled. I had walked through fire, but now I held miracles. 2 heartbeats, 1 new life. Emily. I looked up from my garden, hands still dirty from planting marigolds. His voice hadn't changed, but it no longer moved me. "Double quotes, Liam," I said flatly, dusting soil from my palms. I wasn't sure if you'd still be here." I stood, wiping, my hands on my jeans. "Clearly I am." Stepped closer, uncertain. "I saw your post. The twins, you look happy." I didn't smile. "It's because I am." He nodded slowly, eyes scanning the front yard like he was searching for something that didn't exist anymore. "They're beautiful. Noah and Lily, right? I stiffened. Don't say their names. I'm not trying to cross a line, Em. I didn't expect that photo. You disappeared. No, you stopped looking, I said. Big difference. His face fell. That's not fair. Neither was leaving me the night I buried our child. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Just air, full of regret. I was a mess, he muttered. Be what you needed, so you chose Ava, he winced. She wasn't the reason I left. I crossed my arms. Then enlighten me. I was broken too, Emily. I didn't know how to hold grief. We were drowning, and I jumped ship. He rubbed his hands together like the friction could erase the past. Ava left me, said I was cruel, that I used her to escape. My shame, she's not wrong. He looked up, pain flickering in his eyes. You really hate me? No, I whispered. I don't feel anything anymore. That's the difference. Liam stepped forward. Can I see them? Just once? I blinked. You buried my love, Liam. Now you don't get to share in my joy. I didn't mean for it to end like this. You mean for it to end at all? I asked. Because I begged you. I screamed for you in that hospital room, I called. You, while holding our son's blanket, he dropped his head. I know. I was a coward. I took a breath, steady but sharp. Cowards don't get redemption. They get consequences. He nodded, voice cracked. I live with them every day. Well, I said, gesturing to the open gate. Then go live with them somewhere else. He hesitated. I thought, Mabe, we could talk more. Maybe you'd want to know I regret it? I don't, I said. Your regret doesn't raise the dead. It doesn't feed my twins. And it sure as hell doesn't buy forgiveness. His eyes filled, but I didn't flinch. Let him cry. Let him bleed. You changed, he whispered. Damn right I did. Are you happy? That stopped me for a second. Yes, I said clearly. Not because of you, in spite of you. He gave a slow, shaky nod. You deserve it. All of it. Stepped back. Then let me have it. Without your shadow. He opened his mouth to argue, then stopped himself. Goodbye, Emily. Bye, Liam. I watched him leave, no part of me aching for his return. I walked back inside. Where to? Tiny heartbeats reminded me what real love sounded like. You posted it? Ava asked, peering over my shoulder. Yeah, I said, pressing the final button. It's out there now. What did you call it? I buried my baby alone, but I was reborn with twins. Her eyes welled. That's powerful. Didn't write it to be powerful, I murmured. I wrote it because I couldn't hold it in anymore. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Emily, have you checked your post? Ava called from the hallway. I hadn't. It's everywhere, she whispered, handing me the phone. Over 1 million views overnight. I stared. My words, the truth I bled onto that screen, had touched strangers. She left him after he abandoned. Her at her baby's funeral, never cried harder reading a post. She's raising twins alone. A queen. Comments kept rolling. A voice message came in next. Hey Emily, this is Kayla from the Grief Table podcast. I read your story, we'd love to have you on our next episode. Then another. Hi Emily, we're hosting a virtual panel on motherhood and resilience. Would you consider speaking? I couldn't stop shaking. Ava, what is happening? You're being seen, she said softly. Welcome, Emily. Thank you for joining us today, the host of the Grief Table said. Thanks for having me, I replied, adjusting the mic. Your post shattered the internet. Why now? Why share this story at this point in your life? Took a breath, because I realized silence wasn't strength. I buried my son alone. I rebuilt alone. And then I gave birth to joy. I needed people to know it's possible, to break and still bloom. There was a long pause. You talk about grief, betrayal, and rebirth. Was it hard to relive that pain publicly? Harder to live it privately? I answered. There's power in being heard. 2 weeks later, the twins were asleep. When I stepped out to check the mail, a damp, crumpled envelope lay near the gate. Half shredded by the rain, sealed in Liam's handwriting. I knelt, picked it up, turned it over. Water blurred the ink. Curious, I peeled it open. Only half the page was legible. Emily, I was wrong. Every step I took away from you was fear. Every Silence was shame. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I needed to say it. The rest was mashagi lines and broken words. I stared at it for a long time. Are you okay? Ava called from the doorway. I held it up. Finally said sorry. Her eyes narrowed. What did he say? Doesn't matter. The rain took care of it. She came closer. You're not angry? No, I whispered. I didn't need it anymore. I was already free. Later that night, I joined a live stream panel titled From Lost to Light. You've reached millions, the moderator said. What would you say to someone who's just at the beginning of their pain? I looked into the camera. I'd tell her she's not broken. The world may forget her grief, but it lives in her like a language only she can speak. Not one day, maybe not soon. But someday she'll look in the mirror and see not what she lost, but what she became. Comments flew by in real time. I needed this today. She's changing lives. Her strength is everything. When the screen faded to black, Ava handed me my phone. Another invite. Women's Health Summit. Keynote speaker, I laughed. Me a keynote? She grinned. You a survivor? That night, while feeding Lily, I scrolled through my notifications. One stuck out. Dear Emily, we'd love to feature your journey in a national documentary on healing mothers. I laughed softly. Lily, can you believe that? She blinked. Up at me, milk-drunk and smiling. Noah stirred next to her, murmuring in his sleep. This is our life now, I whispered. Loud, full, honest, seen. The world saw me now. But more importantly, so did I. I heard the knock before. I saw the shadow, slow, hesitant, then louder. Emily, please. I stood still behind the curtain, clutching Lily's soft pink blanket. I just need 5 minutes. Lily squealed behind me. I didn't turn. Noah's giggle echoed after hers. The knock again, firmer this time. I know you're in there. I saw the post. The twins, they're beautiful. I stepped to the side of the window, just enough to see. Him, Liam, disheveled. Wet hair clinging to his forehead. His hoodie soaked through. God, Emily, please. I messed up. I know that now. Noah's tiny footsteps padded across the hardwood floor. I scooped him up before he reached the door. Da-da, he asked, blinking up at me. No, baby, just noise. I didn't come to make a scene, Liam called. I'm not here to take anything. I just want to talk. Talk now? After burying me under silence for years? I lost everything, he said, voice cracking. Ava left. My job's gone. My family won't even answer my calls. His palms were flat on the door now. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just want to see them? I pressed Noah's cheek to mine. His skin was warm, real, safe. They're mine too, Emily. Please don't shut me out forever. I didn't respond. Didn't move. You were right, he said, softer. You were always right about everything. The rain picked up. He looked up at the sky, then back to the door. Do you remember the night you told me you were pregnant? I felt that stab, sharp and cold. You were glowing, even through tears, and I walked away. God, I was a coward. Lily babbled something unintelligible. Her fingers curled around my leg. I thought Ava was the future. Turns out she saw the truth faster than I did. She left after reading the hospital file, called me a monster. My breath hitched. She asked me how I could leave someone who buried our baby alone, and I had no answer. I pressed my lips to the top of Noah's head. My silence felt like armor. You don't have to open the door, Liam said. Just tell me you hear me. I let the silence stretch. I deserve this, he murmured. I know I do. Liam stepped back onto the porch. He stared at the window like he could see me. His eyes looked hollow, his shoulders slumped. You were always the stronger one, he whispered. And I see that now. Lily let out a joyful squeal. Noah followed with a burst of laughter. Liam flinched. Their joy was sharp sunlight against his storm. He stared a moment longer and placed something at the door. A small envelope. He turned, walked back to his car, and sat inside. He didn't drive off, just sat there. Soaking eye, opened the door, picked up the envelope. It was sealed in plastic, but water had seeped through. I pulled it open. Paper was smeared, torn, ink bleeding into itself. I could barely read the first word, sorry. The rest was illegible. I stepped back inside and closed the door. Noah handed me his toy giraffe. Lily clapped her hands. Their laughter filled the silence. Liam had left behind. I wanted to scream, now you know. I whispered, but I didn't. Some things are louder in silence. Asterisk. Hold Mommy's hand, I whispered, tightening my grip on Noah's tiny fingers. Why is it so quiet here? He asked, voice full of innocent wonder. Because this is a place where we remember, I replied, brushing Lily's hair out. Of her eyes, she toddled forward. Her pink shoes crunching over the gravel, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying a peace I hadn't felt in years. The grave was just ahead. It's the one I hadn't visited since the day I said goodbye alone. Mommy, is this where your angel lives? Noah asked. I nodded. Yes, sweetheart. This is where your big brother rests. He looked around. Can we see him? No, I said softly. But we can talk to him. Lily plopped down near the headstone, humming to herself. I pulled the plaque from my bag, tracing the engraved words with my thumb. I never got to tell you about them, I murmured, kneeling beside the grave. About how your brother and sister brought me back to life? Noah leaned in. Was his name? I smiled faintly. I never got to name him. He came too early, too fast, too quiet. Noah reached out and touched the small stone. Can I call him Sky? That's beautiful, I said, swallowing the lump in my throat. Sky it is. Lily looked up at me, babbling. Sky, yes, baby. Say hi to Sky. She waved with both hands. Hi. I laughed, wiping tears from my cheeks. Would have loved them, Sky. Their chaos and light and everything I didn't know I needed. Noah sat beside me. Was he lonely? I took a breath. Maybe, but not anymore. I reached into my bag and placed the new plaque beside the old marker. From heartbreak came legacy. I wanted you to be the start of something, I whispered. And you were. Noah looked puzzled. Is this why you were sad before? For a long time, I said, but I'm not sad now. I'm thankful. He frowned. Even though Sky's not here, especially because of that, I said. He taught me how strong I could be, even when no one stayed. Lily tugged at my sleeve. Mommy, up. I lifted her onto my lap. You two were my second chance. Did Daddy ever meet Sky? Noah asked suddenly. I hesitated. No, he didn't want to. Noah's face turned serious. That's not nice. No, it wasn't, I said. But sometimes people run from pain. And sometimes they leave you to hold it all. Is that why you don't love him anymore? I looked at Sky's grave, then back at Noah. Love like that doesn't live. Here anymore, it couldn't survive what he did. He nodded slowly. You still got us. Yes, I said, kissing the top of his head. I have everything I need. Lily leaned back and rested her head on my chest. The silence was thick. But not empty, Mommy? Noah asked again. Did you get revenge? I smiled at his question. What do you think revenge is? Like making someone sad when they made you sad? I looked at the flowers I'd brought, white and soft. Then no, I didn't get revenge to destroy him. Then why? 'Cause I chose to live without him. Noah thought about that. Is that better? Way better, I said. He has to live knowing what he lost. I get to live with what I built. Lily reached out and patted the plaque. Sky happy? I smiled through tears. I think so. Noah stood up and brushed off his jeans. Can we come back again? As often as you want, I said, rising to my feet. I took one last look at the stone. My pain used to live here. Now, only memory remained. Say bye to Sky, I whispered. Bye, Sky, said in unison. I took their hands, and we walked back toward the sun. Asterisk, I saw your speech last night. You had the entire room crying, Sarah said, holding a clipboard against her chest as she followed me down the hallway. Yeah. I was crying too, but they couldn't tell. I had mascara armor. She laughed. You looked powerful. I felt grounded, I said, pushing open the door to the conference room. That's new. Inside, 3 young mothers sat around the table. I recognized every scar in their eyes. Okay, ladies, I said, placing a folder down. We're working on job placements today. No fluff, just progress. Jessie raised her hand. Can I say something first? Of course. She looked down, then up again. I didn't think I'd ever make it out, but I'm here. Because of this place. Because of you. I swallowed. You made it out because of you. I just gave you a map still, she whispered. Thank you. Noah's knock on the glass broke the moment. I excused myself and stepped out into the hallway. You've got a delivery, he said, holding out his phone. And you might want to see this. I took it. On screen was Liam filmed on a park bench, holding a cardboard sign, willing to work. Just listen. My stomach didn't drop. My chest didn't clench. That's recent? I asked. 2 days ago, Noah said. It's all over local TikTok. I handed the phone back. Let them listen. Not one of them anymore. He studied my face. Are you okay? I am. Noah leaned in and kissed my forehead. Your light's getting brighter. I smiled. Good. It's not for him to see. It's for the women inside. Later that evening, Lily tugged on my sleeve as we sat on the porch. Mommy, what's a foundation? It's a home that helps people stand when they've fallen, I said, brushing her curls aside. Like you did? Exactly like I did. She looked proud. Will I have one too, if you want? Can I help? Now, you already are. My phone buzzed again. This time, Ava. Her post read, Dodged a bullet. Healing feels better than revenge ever could. I laughed softly. What's funny, Mommy? Just karma being poetic. I didn't reply to Ava. I didn't need to. The next day, a reporter stopped me as I was leaving the shelter. Emily Hart, she asked, rushing forward. Can I get a comment about Liam Reynolds' recent video? No, I said gently. But I can tell you about our new housing project for single mothers. She blinked. Why? To don't want to respond to his fall from grace? I didn't bury him, I said, walking past. I just outgrew him, and that was enough. No more headlines. No more back and forth. Just quiet steps forward. Inside the shelter, I watched another mother cradle her child. Oh, she was shaking. But still standing, I used to flinch every time someone said his name. I told her, still do, she whispered. You won't forever, I promised. The name stops mattering when the life after it gets bigger. She nodded slowly. Outside, a breeze carried petals off the tree. I didn't hate Liam. I didn't want to. Hate was heavy. Growth was light, and justice. Justice was sometimes quiet, but it always arrived.